When I say my flight was canceled, I mean my flight of beers. I canceled it. Not gonna have any more beers, sir.
That honestly, that's almost a bigger tragedy.
They canceled the flight of beers?
No beer?
That's okay, there's plenty of beer here in Chicago, where we will all be living for the next few days. How many of you are experiencing your very first supernatural convention? How many of you are Friday people? How many of you are Thursday people? Where are the Thursday people? How many of you have had your flight canceled? We're all in it together, everybody. We'll be on the stage tomorrow and go, I love my Monday people. We need to quickly gin up some Monday people t-shirts, guys. We're gonna make this count for something.
Most likely there'll be more people on stage than in the audience.
Yeah, it'll be a real kind of a sit-in, you know. But let's not talk about that right now. Let's talk about what's going to happen today. What's going to happen today is magic. What's going to happen today is those of you who are experiencing your very first supernatural convention are going to experience your very first supernatural convention by beholding the sun and the moon together on stage, clasping hands and dancing in flannel and denim. And then we'll bring out Jared and Jensen. It's a very special opening. How many of you attended the Saturday night special last night? Unbelievable night. Let's meet the team that made that happen, shall we? On the drums, the ice cream king of Chicago and Phoenix, Stephen Norton.
Hang on a sec, Rich. I gotta check and see if my flight's on time.
Okay, hold on. How's it good?
I'm still on time.
Damn it! On the bass guitar, a robot, who currently has no flight home, Michael Borja!
Hold on, I'm gonna check and see.
How's it looking, buddy?
Oh, I'm canceled.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Tinkling on the ivories and also playing piano. It's the creator of creation. That's right, creation has a creator. It's Adam Malin. That song's called If You Leave Me Now, and the good news is we're not leaving you now. We're all stuck here. And sitting in with this band, the man, the myth, the king of sustain, Mr. Jason Mann. When people do the robot now, is it called doing the Borja? Is that a thing? Should be, right? All right. Playing guitar for this ensemble. A man who cares not for morals or values, does not like you, he doesn't care about your experience. He just wants to ooze into your brain, find his way into your emotional center, stir it up like a smoothie, then find your heart and kick it with his boot. Billy Moran! Fine, I'll marry you. Ladies and gentlemen, fronting this ensemble, the man who must be making it snow because he is God. He controls all things, but he also plays a mean shaker. Mean shaker. It's an underappreciated instrument, the shaker. But nobody does it like this man, Rob Benedict. Rob, should we give him a little shaker action? Let's do a little shaker action, all right? All right. So we're near Chicago. we're further from Chicago now that we don't have snow tires, but we're in the ballpark of Chicago. So speaking of ballparks, let's go with the Chicago Cubs. The Chicago Cubs.
I'm a Cardinals fan.
Shakers don't talk. All right, while we're on the theme, how about one of Chicago's favorite sons, Al Capone? Al Capone, Robbie, little Al Capone. Ah, no, Al, he works for you. Oh man, my favorite part of that was you just bludgeoned somebody to deafening silence. Somewhere there's a clip of that. They're like, why was everybody so quiet while Rob mimed murdering a man? Another day at the office, honey. Just a little something on the Sabbath to get you through the day. And now, who could come to Chicago without visiting its fabulous restaurants where they are famous for, that's right, their tableside Caesar. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes bits work, and every now and then, that happens. That's Rob Benedict. That's the man. Let's do this.
Pistons keep on turning, and the wheels go right around. The series of cold and hard, and for miles they go on down.
Down love, we'll put your beer out now, now, now. Down love. Down love.
Where would you be right now?
You'd be snowed in Chicago. That's where you'd be. That was great. Jason Mans, Adam Malin, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. We have decided to start Sunday off with somebody that you have not gotten to see at. Probably didn't even know he was here. So hold on to your hats when we surprise you by announcing our very first guest on this Sunday, Rob Benedict.
What overachiever!
You rascal!
It's a place that's a fever!
I didn't know you were here.
He's alive!
What a surprise!
Wow,
Why didn't you tell us
I
you were going
just
to be
found
here?
out backstage myself.
That's crazy.
This is crazy. You guys shouldn't have. You shouldn't have. My very own meet and greet.
Well, listen,
I mean, Q&A.
we know how you get tired of being on stage with us and me and them,
I
and
know.
we knew you wanted your own time. So have at it, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Benedict.
Hi, everybody. Hi, how's it going? I hope you're not too sick of me. I know I've been up here a lot.
Always.
Good. Boo, get off. Yeah, it's been super fun weekend. So I'm happy to answer some questions you might have for me.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Caroline.
Hi, Caroline.
I was wondering, is there a different God in the Apocalypse universe? And if so, what is he like and where the heck was he?
Well, I think I've been asked that before, and I think it's up to interpretation, right? But I think, I think that there's the same God in all the universes. That's my opinion, but I think it is, and I think the answer to that question is the same answer, like where has he been in our universe? And you know, he's got a really tight schedule. You imagine managing all those universes. You can't make everybody happy all the time, right? Lots of prayers to answer. He's trying to bring Gabriel back. I got just actors alone who want back on the show. That's most of the time what he's been doing. Like, okay, all right, Felicia, you're back on. You know what I mean? I'm in charge of all those things. And this is a mind trip, also trying to bring myself back onto the show. So imagine that universe. So I think it's the same God who, he creates all these different universes, and sometimes for fun, because he can be kind of a cruel and selfish God sometimes. So yeah, and he just has so much to do, and sometimes he just kind of lets the people play in the sandbox, see what happens. But yeah, he's not me. Just know that he's not me. Rob would never do that. That's why I'm not God. I'm not in charge of anything.
And what about Chuck?
What about him? I mean, Chuck, what a great guy. Chuck can't help that he's this meat suit for the Almighty. He just kind of wanted to just be this nobody writer, and then this happened. But yeah, now Chuck I have a lot in common with. Chuck I get. But God's a big one. It's a big one. Yeah, Chuck. I mean, I don't know. I don't know in the other universe. I think Chuck. Chuck. I would think that in my thought process, Chuck isn't God. In the other, there is a God. It's the same God, but he's not necessarily in the body of Chuck. Yeah, I think it'd be an interesting thing to explore. You know what's in the other universe. Yes.
Hi. So first off, I absolutely adore you to the same extent that I absolutely despise the God in this.
Cool.
And my question
Thank
is
you.
that since God is like omnipotent, omniscient, that why, like knowing that there's empirical data from humans that negative punishment is a bad thing, and that positive reinforcement is the best way to change behavior. Why didn't he learn that and then take Lucifer out of the cage and figure out something else to do?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a very rational point. Working with a lot here, a lot on my plate sort of thing, bigger picture. Sure, that didn't work. Parenting's hard. So we're trying something else now. But yeah, okay, that didn't work. There's a lot that doesn't work. Yeah, the OG God thing is always like, I don't know, punishment somehow is just his quick go-to. I wasn't the best dad. I wasn't. I'm not talking about me, Rob. I feel like I'm a pretty good father. But God's not the best dad. But he's doing his best. That's what the angels are for. You know what I mean? He's trying to give some of the power to them because just so much going on, and near retirement at this point. You know what I mean? He's working hard for millions and billions of years. So yeah, no, just a lot of my play, like a full practice. It's hard to schedule an appointment. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, did I handle things great with my bad teenage son? No, I didn't. Look at all my children. They're not great. You know what I mean? Look at Gabriel. I mean,
Gabriel was perfect. What
he's
are you
super
talking about?
fun, unless you're his father, okay?
Maybe you should have been there.
Going on.
You disappeared, and you left us as one of the people in charge.
Don't make me smite your ass. I swear to God. I swear to me.
You can go ahead and try.
And then I had Michael, had a big flare-up this year. It's been a really tricky year for me, man.
Well, you didn't even save the other Michael.
I know, then there's that. Listen, let's all just cool down. I don't want to smite you any more than you want to be smote. But I will try to do better.
That's all we ask.
Good.
Right, thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I'd like to thank you for the monologue in Swan Song.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, that was so well written.
And I'm from Bloomington, Illinois.
Oh, yeah?
And in the end of your story in Family Don't End with Blood, you mentioned that you were married there on August 12th in 95.
Yeah.
How did you end up in Bloomington?
Well, my wife was from there, and here in Evanston at Northwestern. And so, yeah, so we met there in college, and she happened to be from Bloomington Normal, and that's where her family was from, and I'm from Missouri, but, so yeah, Columbia, Missouri, nice. And so, so we got married at a traditional, we were very young, in a traditional wedding there in Bloomington, yeah.
It's a nice town.
I have memories of going and visiting her, and I did my senior thesis I worked on kind of over the summer, and I did a lot of my research at the ISU library. So yeah, lots of good memories in Bloomington Normal, and I did lots of drives from Chicago down to Columbia, so I would always sort of drive through that area of Illinois, and so yeah, lots of good memories there. And I'm glad I'm finally well enough to answer that question. The story, but I had this stroke thing in 2013, and the stroke hit me right at the most awkward time at a convention in Toronto when someone asked me what's my anniversary of my wedding, and that's when the stroke hit, and I lost the ability to talk. I had aphasia, and so I couldn't answer that question. It's really awkward. So it's like, it's funny now. It's funny now. You know, what's your anniversary? So that was where I lost it. But anyway, so I'm happy to finally be able to answer that question. I love you too.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
I'm a musician who struggles a lot with songwriting, so I'm just wondering what advice you would have.
Do you play guitar?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always just like picking up the guitar and just playing it. And when you hear chords that go together nicely, you kind of keep playing those. And it sounds simple, but it starts simple. Don't try to get ahead of yourself and get too heady about it. You start simple. You just, you put some chords together that sound good together, and maybe start humming a melody. I mean, that's kind of how I do it. And I get a melody going in my mind, and it's just like da 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 da. There are no words yet, and then once I kind of get that down, that's when I sit down and I'm inspired by something. Like honestly, like a word will just kind of form in my head that sounds good over those chords. Something that has like an A sound or an O sound, and a couple of words will come to my head, and I go, ooh, that reminds me of this, and I'll kind of sit there and write. I'll write something that'll sort of be about an emotion I'm feeling at that time. But I guess my advice to you is like to keep playing, and there are no bad ideas, So if you write a song, you're like, oh, this feels simple or this feels bad or whatever. There are no bad songs. It's beautiful because it came from you. So just keep trying, and don't overthink it, and allow yourself to mess up and have lots of rough drafts, and just do it. Just keep, write down words, write down lyrics, listen to a lot of other music. A lot of times I'll listen to like music that inspires me, and then you turn the music off, and then you sit there, and all these melodies are in my mind just from these music I've been listening to. A lot of times that's where a song will come from. I'm always taking a notebook around with me, and I jot down ideas and things, and lyrics. I go back to the notebook. So just kind of get in that mindset. You're an artist, and you're throwing paint at a canvas. So just, if you want to paint a picture, just start putting paint on canvas. So that's what you need to start doing. Just, play, and don't be a critic. Just allow yourself, anything is okay, And that's the exciting thing about creating art. And in terms of music, that's what's exciting, is like, you're like, wow, this is mine from scratch. I can do whatever I want. There are no, you have to do verse, chorus. It doesn't have to be anything. You do whatever, right? And that can be really exciting. So challenge yourself to think outside the box.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi. My question is about season 11, Don't Call Me Shirley. When you came back and you got this script and you saw that, A, you were God, and that you had the line about dating men and women, what was your reaction to that, both as God, but also, did you realize how important that was going to be to so many people to see?
I think I did, yeah. I mean, I thought it was fucking awesome. I was so excited about it. I thought that script was so good, and Robbie Thompson wrote it, and he's like one of the best writers to ever grace Supernatural. He's written some of my favorite episodes. Baby, he wrote that. He wrote the 200th episode in the school fan fiction. Anyway, so he wrote that, and so when I saw it, I thought it was awesome, and I thought, wow, this is cool and very important, and honestly, kind of groundbreaking to have on network television, I thought. And I was just such a blessing to be able to be the person who says it. You know what I mean? I thought it was awesome. And I don't know, there was no blowback as far as I ever saw, so fuck yeah. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Yeah. Any God of mine is an open and accepting God, right?
Hi.
Hi.
All right, you answered one of my questions yesterday, and it was awesome.
Okay, good.
But this one's for my mother, who is not a Supernatural fan until this convention.
Okay.
She can't wrap her head around the fact that you're God.
Okay.
So she wanted me to ask if
Yeah.
you could actually sit down with God
Right.
and talk to him. What would you ask him? I
How
know,
am I
weird
doing?
question.
How am I doing?
Right?
Did I get it
I
right?
figured that was the first answer.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I mean, I get it. I mean, I've had some people say that. I know there's like different divisions in the fandom. I think some people accept it and love it, and some people are like, eh. I love it because I'm not your typical, to have God be in the body of Chuck, it's not your typical God. And I like that. I like the atypical God. I think if you had a, long white beard and a big robe and everything, that would be boring. Yeah. So I like that it's this the most unlikely, what if God were one of us kind of guys. I also think it's a great analogy, which is really what it is, for the creator of the show. I mean, I was originally in season 5 is when I found out I was God, and that was because I was modeled after Eric Kripke, the creator of the show. So it's very meta, the idea that I'm God, that I have the power is really from the writers, and the writers have been able to sort of wink at the audience through my character, which I just think it's kind of a fun thing. But if I were to sit down with God, after I asked him if I'm doing a good job, I'd be like, I don't know, isn't this weird that we're just having lunch and you're God?
What would he order?
And then I'd be like, are you going to get the bill, or how does this work? Like, do you even have a credit card? God. So now I'm thinking I have to get lunch because he doesn't have a credit card, and that's weird. So I just bought God lunch. So what am I going to get in return now, God? And I had some of the same questions you guys have. Like, where are you when this happens? Why can't you prevent this? Why does this have to happen? What's the meaning of life, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It'd be a big long lunch. I'm going to need more than lunch, to be honest. Now I've just bought you lunch. Let's go get ice cream. So now we're eating ice cream. I've got more questions. I don't know. I'd have lots and lots of questions. And hopefully I would leave it feeling a little bit better just about this journey that we're on called life. And it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, the whole idea of God and having to sort of suffer our way through life. But hopefully I'd feel maybe a little more taken care of, I guess. Or maybe God would help me realize that I've got the power in myself to take care of myself. And then I'm my own God. Maybe that's the lesson. Wow, this has been great, guys. So then I'd hug him and I'd be on my merry way. Wow, what a great afternoon that was.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Rob.
Hi.
So what would you or God think it was like before Lucifer was cast out of heaven?
Just say it again.
What do you think it was like before Lucifer was cast out of heaven?
Oh, it was a mess. No, it was a mess. It was tough. You know, he listened to heavy metal music. He stayed in his room all day. He never listened to me. And as a single parent, that was tough. Yeah, no. Look, Lucifer was always a problem. But I think he is good in his heart. Of Lucifer, the concept of Lucifer, you know, the idea that ultimately he was an archangel, is an archangel, and you know, and with God, it's an interesting idea. So I think that there is goodness in his heart, and I think Mark Pellegrino is a great fella. But it was never easy. It was never easy with old Luce. We did our best. I always want to say his mother and I, but there's no, because, you know, we're, yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
About 5 years ago, my cousin and her husband made me drop everything I was doing when they'd found out I hadn't seen a little movie called Waiting.
Ah, yes.
Knowing the ensemble, what's the craziest thing that happened on shoot?
There was a lot of crazy things that happened.
I'm sure.
We were all pretty young, and we were all, you should talk about a movie called Waiting that they did, that it's a great, if you know, it's a raunchy comedy and kind of a sleeper cult comedy movie that, especially if you've ever waited tables, you get it. So, but yeah, it was crazy because we were fairly young. I had just had my first baby, so it was 15 years ago because my son's 15. And we were in New Orleans for about a month, and we were living that life off camera too. We were out all night. I mean, New Orleans is crazy, right? So we were drinking our faces off and just having a blast. So I particularly spent a lot of time with Justin Long and Anna Faris and Ryan Reynolds. We, you know, had a hoot. We just so much fun. The craziest thing that happened, there are lots of crazy things that happened. The craziest thing that happened, I know, Anna was experiencing a lot of fame at that time. People knew her from the Scary Movies. Now she's on that show, Mom. But at the time, people knew her from the Scary Movies. And so she'd get stopped on the street, and she's such a like, okay, yeah, sure. That one people were like, hey, will you come party with us at our house? She's like, okay. She gets into a car and like goes and parties, has a pool party with these people. And we're like, Anna, what are you doing? You can't do that. She's like, well, I can't. No, that's not what you do. Kind of thing going on. And yeah, oh gosh. Yeah, no, I just remember, yeah, there were a lot of just drunken, oh, one time we were invited on stage to play in a band, with a band. They're like, hey, do you want to come on stage? And I got handed the spoon and the like, thing. Washboard, yeah. I call it a thing. So I was in front of a group of people and I was really feeling it because I was a little buzzed. And so I'm like, so I really had a whole washboard solo. So that was really cool. But and my other favorite memory of that I like to tell my son, because my son's 15 and so I'm not cool. I'm not a cool person. So I want him to think I'm cool. So I say, oh, thank you guys, thank you. Tell my son. And so I was having dinner with Ryan Reynolds and a couple other castmates, and we were talking about who our set crushes were. So a lot of times you'd be like, set crush is just a very, very nice way of saying, ooh, I think that person's kind of cute, fun to go to work every day and see that person's face, you know. So a lot of times it's like, you know, the boom gal, or, you know, or the guy who does the snacks, or, you know, whoever. The grip, the camera guy, one of the actors. Ryan Reynolds was like, Rob Benedict is my on-set crush. And I was like, oh, Ryan Reynolds. So I tell my son that. Deadpool thought my face is cute. And he's like, ah, Dad, whatever. But anyway, that's my favorite memory.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi.
Hi.
First, I just want to say you killed it last night.
Thank you so much.
It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. So when I was younger, I used to sing and songwrite, sort of. They were really crappy songs. And then I stopped for a while, and then I'm graduating in May, so I kind of want to get back into singing and songwriting. So my question is, it's kind of similar to the musician one, but I was just wondering, like, what advice you have as far as retraining your voice, getting back to what it was or even stronger, and then as far as songwriting, like, what's your process? Like, how do you come up with the lyrics? How do you come up with the meaning, like the stories and stuff? How do you do that?
The voice thing, I took lessons. I used to sing, but I wasn't singing correctly. As I got older, I just started losing my voice all the time. And so I started taking lessons so I could like place the voice correctly in my head in a way that I wasn't straining this part of my throat, and I could sing better. And I found that I had a lot more range. And I'm still getting better. What's going on over there? Weird, huh? It's a weird God thing. He's not excited about the Jared Misha duo photo op for some reason. Or maybe he's just letting you know. Anyway, so I took lessons, and I'm still learning. I mean, and like with guitar, I learn a lot by playing with people who are better than me. Like now it's Billy. In old bands it had been other people, but now it's Billy. I learn a lot from playing with Billy. Singing, I learn a lot singing with Jason Manns. So you saddle up with people who are really good at it and learn the tips and secrets. Anyway, so taking lessons and just taking that more seriously allowed me to write different songs too. Write songs where my voice is low, in a lower range, or go higher, or have more, depth. Anyway, and so in terms of writing songs and lyrics, like I was saying earlier, a lot of times I'll just literally get a phrase in my mind that sounds good with the chords I'm playing, and I'll write a song around that phrase because it'll remind me of, a lot of it is just an emotion. A lot of my songs are super emotional because I'm writing a poem about the feelings I'm having, and the only way I can express it in any way is to just put it down on paper, like a diary. And so if the term is like the dense woods or whatever, I'm just making this up right now, and then I'll write a song about like feeling like I'm walking alone in the woods and the trees and the darkness and scared, and but there's a clearing and I can get through, and you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of times it's that. It's like a word, and then I can sort of put how I'm feeling, kind of insert it into that phrase and try to write lyrics around that. A lot of times it's that. And sometimes it'll come out as a story that's not really me, but it's about an emotion I'm feeling. So that's why a lot of times when I'm singing these songs, because a lot of these things, they're not gone, but I can process them through the songs. And I feel like when I'm playing live, I have permission to go there. And that's why I always say that I feel like I'm in a safe space, especially with all of you. You've allowed me that. So that's what it is, and it hasn't been the easiest time as of late, and I've been writing my ass off. I have so many songs because I've been processing a lot of different emotions, and so many songs that are coming out of it, which I guess is a positive. But that's my technique. Right, and it's just getting in touch with your emotions. So, just start by writing. You can just write whatever, stream of consciousness. You know what I mean? And something maybe will come from that. Yeah. Just don't be, like I said earlier, like let go, and just think outside of the box. There's no wrong answer. You're not being graded. And my whole thing with the band and the music, I put so much pressure on myself in acting to get a job because that's my bread and butter. It's how I live. I gotta. I'm really work so hard to do that. So writing was always like something for me, right? And so that's why I'm personal. I really never thought that anyone would hear them, especially when I started writing. So, and I just didn't put that pressure on myself. I didn't need to make money doing it. I didn't need it to go #1 on the charts, and and I still feel that way. I think that's one of the reasons I kind of like separate myself from that part of it. Even in the band, I never do the business part of it. And if you ask me about like, hey, when are you doing this? Or do you have T-shirts? I'll be like, I have no idea. I'm just writing the songs. I just, because I don't want that pressure. You've got to do it this way. You've got to do it like this, People aren't going to like it if I feel like the lesson I've learned is if you're honest with yourself and you're writing to make yourself satisfied, people will respond to that.
Hi, Rob.
Hi.
Had a question. A few of us have talked about it. Every guest that comes up, you guys have a song that introduces them.
Yeah.
And they all tend to have a reference.
Yeah.
What is the reference for the song you guys used to introduce Jared and Jensen?
Oh, you mean Any Way You Want It?
Yeah.
That one, you know, a lot of times with what we do, a lot of times it's a no-brainer, right? Mark Shepard was Mr. Crowley, right? That's right. You got to make sense. A lot of times with Adam Rose, we've played Every Rose Has Its Thorn. You know, it's a play on their actual name. Felicia Day, we do It's a Beautiful Day. But then with other people, like with Jensen and Jared, that's morphed. It used to be like we've done The Boys Are Back in Town for them. And there was something about Any Way You Want It that kind of got the crowd going, because the purpose of that is sort of to get the crowd excited and also to buy them time to walk over here. So we need more time a lot of times. It used to be that we didn't time it right, and I'd play and finish Any Way You Want It. They're still not back there, and they're like, okay, so now we're going to do a Loudon Swain song. You know, we're just like tap dancing and trying to get ready for them to come to make it here. But anyway, so for the last year or so, Any Way You Want It has been the thing, and it's all timed out perfectly. But really, it's just a way to like get an audience interaction, to get you guys fired up, and have the energy in the right place. Really, that's what that one is. And their outro song too is like, I went to them one time and I was like, what song fires you up? And they really love that Whitesnake song, so we do that as their outro song, and it just kind of sticks, and we all still like it, so we just kind of keep doing it. Yeah, I love that kind of thing about what we do these weekends, what we've built from nothing. It's these little things that still make us happy. It's The Last Question, the song that me and Jensen sing. It just makes us laugh, so we keep doing it.
And we enjoy it. So
Yeah, oh good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very, very, very welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
What Swain song do you most associate with each of the other band members?
Ooh, that's a great question. So Billy, there are some of our songs that Billy writes the music to, and then he sends to me, and he'll be like, I've called this one blank. And so then I write a song, I write the lyrics around that idea. And so I always think of him with Honeybee, which is a gentle song that we don't always play. We never really played Saturday Night Special, but it means a lot. And it reminds me of Billy, because Billy said, I called this one Honeybee, and it makes me think of my daughter, who was a baby. And so I wrote a song about my daughter, and daughters everywhere, and father and daughter relationships, about her, your little honeybee, who then grows up, but she'll always be your little honeybee. So that was the lyrical idea, but it was really, it started with his saying, think of my daughter and honeybee. It's just the word that comes to mind. So that really always makes me think of Billy when we sing it. With Norton, you know, there are little things in every song where it's like, ooh, that was Norton's idea. A lot of these songs are, I come in with the demo, me playing guitar, and then the guys will kind of add things to it. With Norton, I think of the older songs like Cast Off, because those were all recorded in Norton lived below. These guys lived in this like huge house, and he rented this downstairs apartment, and he had Pro Tools set up, and we'd go there and we'd just record the little electronic drum kit, and we'd record the songs, and that's where songs like Cast Off were written. So I think I'll say Cast Off for Norton. And also that's like, Norton's an old school, like 80s rock kind of guy, and Cast Off is kind of has a Jesse's Girl feel to it. And then with Mike, I think about Mike with songs like Taxi Driver, because that's Mike's bass line really roots that song. Do 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 do, because that was Mike. Mike kind of brought that into rehearsal. Actually, we were in the studio and he brought that bass run in, and we were like, ooh, that's a song. Let's do it right now. And I literally wrote the lyrics on the fly, and we just recorded it. So I think about Mike with that. But yeah, it's so fun to be playing with those guys for so many years. You know, Mike and I put together last night that we met in 1995, and we started playing music together in like 97. And so that's, you know, and then Norton joined us soon thereafter. And so that's how long we've been together. And then Billy joined us in like 2003, 4 or something. So yeah, it's fun. It's endearing. When I think of them and we're playing the songs, they're my brothers. So yeah, you're welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering if you had a different process or method when you were preparing to play Chuck the Prophet versus Big Daddy Chuck.
Yeah, Big Daddy Chuck is more of a challenge. Chuck the Prophet, the way that I played him in seasons 4 and 5, it was really more getting into the mindset of being this kind of a hermit who didn't respond well to daylight. So it was a lot of like, just like, people and lights. You know what I mean? He was that kind of a hermit, especially in season 4. Yeah, so that I kind of, you know, and just sort of being a little nervous and overwhelmed and under-respected. That was the Chuck's thing. And so when I finally had to put God into that, it was fun, but it's a big one, you know, because you're like, how am I going to play that? Ultimately, I just kind of relied on the writing, but it's just a matter of, you look at the Chuck thing as a character, a body that you've been in, that you kind of like the way that it feels. It's a suit that feels pretty well. And you're like, you know what, call me Chuck, because I kind of like this guy, and I like this face. And I've been having a great time walking around with this guy. And so there's that element to it. And then there's an element to it where you have to be a strict father. And your voice just goes to a different place. And you have to, you know, really lay it on the line and say, this is the way it is. This is how it has to be. When you have to, like, scold your kids or tell them that's not the right way to do it. And so, yeah, but it's, you know, it's interesting and a super, you know, great opportunity to be able to play that. Yeah, it definitely is a different preparation. Yeah, there's... the scenes that I have with Jensen and Jared, especially, there are a couple scenes where I like really have to. I had this scene with Jensen in season 11 where it was me and Sam and Dean, and Dean was kind of like tears in his eyes, like, where have you been? Then all this stuff happened, and where were you? And I remember that was in particular really hard because, first of all, Jensen was crying, and they shot his side first, and separately, Rob was going, wow, this is season 11, and these guys are bringing 110%. This brother is crying. He's in it. That's amazing. And then me as Rob the actor, I was just thinking, I'm on his side. I agree. Where have you been, Dad? You know, I related more to the kid who's saying, where have you been, Dad? You know, I've been through that personally from a personal experience. So I was siding with him. So it was a real challenge for me, and ultimately really good to actually be the father in that, you know, and to have a voice in that conversation, and say, you know, that's not what this is about, and I'm not your father, so don't put that on me. It was interesting. It was an interesting exercise for me to be that guy. So I just kind of found a different place in my voice. It has a lot to do with it too. You just root it down here. It was like Chuck is a little bit up here, all in his head, and God is just like in your gut. So that's a lot of it too.
Thank you.
Thank you. I gave you 18,000 answers to your question. Uh-oh.
See if you can help me out here. My wife tells me that your beard is way softer than mine. And so I'd really like to know what you use, what products you use.
Oh, she's very observant. And I never asked her to touch it, and but, you know, now that we're asking, I have beard softener, but I don't really use it very much. So I think it's just a natural smoothness. But I would recommend there are there are great beard products. I just can't take my beard that seriously that I have a line of products just for the beard. It just feels like it's too much, you know what I mean? It's heavy-handed. If I'm like, that's my face products and this is just for the beard. But I can tell you that I've got this gray patch in my beard, which is I hate, and so for work sometimes I'll have them dye it, and that really softens it up because gray hairs are a bit more brittle, so that really softens up if you dye it, and it takes off 2, maybe 3 days. You look that much younger. So yeah, I don't know, but you're welcome to touch it, and you know what I mean? I'm not partial to, you know, I love everybody. So I just want you to know that it's all above board with me and your wife. And it's Tim.
I know, I heard, we just walked in the backstage to her you offering him the freedom to touch it.
That's
what
right.
would that be? Gonna fill in the gap there?
Tim gets it.
For me, Junior?
Tim gets it. It's my beard.
What?
My beard. You're welcome, Tim. Thank you. My beard.
Your beard.
Yeah, my beard.
Okay. That's what the kids call it these days, huh?
The person posing to be my wife, my beard.
Robbie?
Richard?
Sure, why not? I mean,
yeah, let's do it.
That's good, nice.
Okay, I'm currently a culinary student, so my question is, if I were to create a signature Rob Benedict sandwich, what ingredients would you want in it that best reflect you as a person, your personality?
Well, I'll just tell you what the honest answer is, and you maybe we could put something on it. Maybe I think first of all, it's a poppy seed bagel.
Okay.
It's toasted.
Okay.
Mustard.
Okay.
Lettuce.
Okay.
Turkey, sliced turkey. Pickles and black olives. That's my favorite.
And how does that represent your personality?
Well, look, I'm more of a turkey guy. If you know me, you know I'm more of a turkey guy than like a ground beef. I'm a turkey. I'm a soft meat. I'm not the hardcore. I'm a soft meat. Yep, that's right. That's right. Yep. And then pickles and black olives, just on a bed of nice lettuce. You know what I mean? Just soft landing, but mustard. There's a little bit of spice underneath.
Romaine or iceberg?
Iceberg.
Aw.
Yeah, that's the Rob Benedict.
I like that you went through all that and you said romaine and iceberg. You said iceberg, and she's like, oh, you like it, you lost.
But I acted like she said, oh, because I was like, I know, right?
You had her with soft meat, man. You had her.
I had everybody. I had you with soft meat.
I was just so relieved you didn't want a sausage sandwich, that it was a pleasant change of pace.
You make everything dirty.
What?
Yes.
We're in Chicago, the sausage capital of America.
Yeah.
What's dirty about sausage? You need to grow up.
You need to grow up.
Maybe you and Tim should just go touch it, and we'll let you two finish it.
You know what? I was having a perfectly good Q&A.
Did I say anything about the freaking meat? No.
You dropped your, but you did a mic drop.
The audience guffawed. It was out of my hands at that point, literally.
Where it will stay. Out of your hands. Anyway, try the sandwich. It's going to be great. Thank you for all your questions. You've been lovely. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Benedict. All right. In a little bit, we've got everybody's favorite Scottish souvenir coming up on this stage. But before that, videos made by you, for you. And we'll be back shortly after these air to bring on our next guest. Enjoy.